welcome in everyone. The temple doors are open and the cleric is in his confessional. Welcome in everyone. My name is Alec the Cleric. I'm a Wonderlands and Borderlands content creator, a YouTube editor, a podcaster, and an all-around funny dad who has no idea what he's doing when he plays games, but we have a lot of fun anyway. This is episode 11 of The Confessional, where we interview incredible and interesting people from all walks of life and places. And the best part is that you, as an audience member, get to participate in the show. All you have to do is join us live here every Sunday evening at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over at twitch.tv/AlecTheCleric. And you can ask your questions live in chat. You can also join our Discord server, !Discord, if you are here in the live chat right now. Or if you're checking this out later on YouTube or iTunes or Stitcher or anywhere you download amazing content, check the description below or in the little blurb down there and you'll be able to have a link to that as well. You can also follow us on Twitter at ClericCast to see who will be coming up in next week's episode so you can stay fully up to speed on all things confessional. And maybe considering supporting the show by joining our new Patreon, patreon.com/theconfessional. That'll give you all kinds of amazing perks and rewards for being a supporter of the show. And you'll get some extra stuff for participating there as well. So check that out, patreon.com/theconfessional. All right. Enough of the boring intro stuff. Let's get our guest into the confessional. Joining me this week for our 11th episode is an absolutely amazing person that I am so excited and honored to get the chance to talk to again. She is an incredible content creator, a trophy hunter, a sneakerhead, and an incredible human being. Please welcome Raceryayo. Racer, how are you doing this evening?
What's up, guys? It's Racer. I'm just playing. I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. I'm doing great. It is so awesome to have you back on here. For those of you who haven't been following me for a while, Racer and I go way, way back. And in fact, one of the very first podcasts that I ever did, Racer was one of my co-hosts on that podcast. So her and I go way back as far as podcasting goes. And so this is kind of just like a little bit of history coming back around full circle at this point.
Yep. Nostalgia at its finest.
A little bit of nostalgia. So why don't you just start off, Racer, by telling us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Well, I do a little bit of everything, honestly. Besides streaming, I mean, I'm a hardcore trophy hunter. I create a little bit of content. I used to do unboxing videos on YouTube. I've transitioned completely over to TikTok now, where my videos are shorter and you get less the Raceryayo banter. But yeah, those are the only two platforms that I'm really into right now. I'm just trophy hunting at its finest.
Yeah, and that's definitely something we're going to get into here because I've got a lot of questions about trophy hunting and all of that too. But where did you kind of get started then with this journey that you've been on in content creation? Like what got it going for you? What got you started in enjoying games and all of that stuff?
Oh man, I think back when I first started, getting on Twitter and I was part of a group called PlayStation MVPs, which was an actual entity of PlayStation. And I put in my application to them, and I actually became a part of PlayStation MVPs. And I was doing content for them for actually about 2 to 3 years before they finally closed their doors. So I think that was really the beginning of everything, where once they closed the doors, I kind of just sat there like, well, what do I do now, Um, I know that streaming was barely even a thing when PlayStation MVPs were around, so it was more like I would take out my phone and just kind of like set it and prop it and just record the screen, the TV
Yes.
screen through it. So that was, something that I did back then, and they gave awesome codes that we could use to, download the games and put out the content that they wanted out there. So that's really how I started. And then once I left, or once they closed their doors to everybody, I actually transitioned to Twitch, started streaming a little bit on Twitch. And I think at that point I kind of realized it was going to be a little difficult to grow at that point, but I still trucked along and kind of climbed there. And then I met you. We started doing the podcast. And then I got interested in a whole other thing after that, which was the unboxing videos. So that's where I'm at, I guess now, right?
Yeah. No, that's very cool. And it's cool too cuz I mean for those of us that have been around forever, like we remember the old school method of gaming content creation was to do the prop up, you know, you either put your
Yep.
phone up on something or you like in the real old days you'd have a camcorder that you'd like sit there and like put it there and record the TV screen while you were playing. So it's cool that you started, you know, way back then in the olden days, in the good old days of YouTube and everything else.
Right, yeah.
That's awesome. So yeah, let's talk about the main thing that you do now, or the main thing that you've been known for recently, especially on Twitter and social media, is your trophy hunting. So for those of us who in the audience who might not know what that is, why don't you explain a little bit about what it is to be a trophy hunter and what's involved in that?
So, with trophy hunting, it's basically completing the list of trophies that come along on PlayStation. Or you could be an achievement hunter, which is completing the entire list that comes out on the Xbox achievements. Um, I think that, the way that I kind of got into that was through, I actually got an email from PlayStation. I was playing Horizon Zero Dawn, and it was like, if you complete the trophy list, you'll get a free avatar. And I was like, say less. And I said, well, let me see if I could even do it, because I don't think I was that good at games back then when I really wanted it. So I checked it out and I was like, I think I could do this. I think I could do this. And uh, I did the first one. I finished that one completely. That was actually my first platinum trophy. And then after that, I think it was Until Dawn.
Mm,
That one's a little harder than not harder, but more time consuming.
yeah.
And then I just kind of started figuring things out from there, like how uh kind of keeping track of my trophies, because back on PlayStation 4, there's no way to track them like we're spoiled now with the PlayStation 5 because you can track everything and it gives you a percentage, and it's like much easier, and I want to say kind of geared a little bit more towards trophy hunters.
Mm.
Um the trophy system I feel is now, but uh I think I'm veering. You said what was the the definition of trophy hunters, and I'm giving you a history lesson on my trophy. But it's basically going after the full completed list. So at the end, you get, your silver, your gold, your bronze. Once you get all of them, even including the story trophies, which are always the easiest, you get the platinum trophy, which is the platinum will give you a higher rank in the PlayStation ranking system.
Okay. That's cool. That's really cool. So, it's basically completing a game 100%, right? Like you've done everything that there is to do, or
Not necessarily, because completing the trophies doesn't necessarily mean that you've 100% the game.
mm,
Um, Sometimes that would be like a trophy hunter slash completionist, and
gotcha.
I'm just a trophy hunter. Um, Sometimes I will do completion things like go back to the DLCs. It's like that is a completionist, and 90% of the time I don't go back to the DLCs unless it's like something that I'm super super interested. Like recently I started playing the Borderlands, the Moxie heist,
Mm,
which is one DLC that I was actually really interested. I did do the Wonderlands one, which I don't do the DLCs.
mm-hmm.
But I actually, if I'm interested, I will do it. If I'm not, I'll just leave it. It does mess with the percentage, like your total percentage, because even though you get platinum, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to show 100%. It'll
Gotcha.
end up showing like 80 or 60, and it kind of makes the number look ugly, but still.
Well, I mean, but it's the trophy itself is what you're going after, right? Like not
Right.
necessarily the full completion. I got you. I got you. So, what about trophy hunting is so appealing to you? Like, what keeps you coming back to try to get that platinum trophy on as many games as you can?
I think when I first started out, and I'm gonna veer a little. I'm gonna veer a little here because I said I wanted to make it a point to say it, but when I first started out, I was just playing games that I thought were quick, just to get my numbers up.
Gotcha.
Um, that's all I cared about. Like even if it was a small game or an indie game or a 5 minute, 2 minute platinum, I would go in there and I would actually do it. But the the more time that passed, I became a little bit more selective. Like I do play indies because I love certain indie games, but I won't play like, the jumping toaster or the
Mm.
jumping bread or any of those. I kind of try to veer away from that simply because I don't want my trophy list to be something that I didn't work good or hard enough to achieve that.
Gotcha.
And then when I kind of realized that I was doing that, I was like, I don't want my trophy list to look like that. So I just kind of took a step back and said, I'm only gonna get trophies or platinums or go after platinums that I have a desire for, like the games that I actually love, as opposed to just buying the 4.99s and all of that good stuff just to get that platinum trophy.
I feel that. No, and that makes total sense, right? Because if you're not enjoying what you're playing too, I'm sure that makes it a lot harder to want to push through to get those trophies. So being a little selective is probably good for your mental health a bit when it comes to that kind of
Oh
stuff.
yeah. Oh yeah.
For sure. Well, we've got some questions coming in from the community, so we'll start off with Captain Spaulding. They would like to know what is your favorite achievement that you've ever gotten, and also your most hated achievement that you ever got.
My most hated is the Mayo game.
Okay.
the the I am Mayo. It's like the dumbest platinum trophy that you could get. You literally just have to keep hitting X. And the longer you keep hitting X, you can dress up your can of mayonnaise as like, you could put a bikini on the man.
What the heck is that?
You That's a thing. It's a thing, and there's actually three. Well, they just released the new I Am Mayo game, part three. But yeah, that's probably the dumbest one that I have. That not necessarily that I regret, but it was so dumb that it's kind of like embarrassing that I sat there and, and tapped X so many times.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
but I think my proudest achievement is really The Last of Us,
Hmm.
because I didn't think that I would be able to do it. Um, Fair disclaimer, my aim completely sucks. I am like the worst. Well, let me just say I've gotten a lot better than before. Like I'm actually winning games on Fortnite now.
There you go.
But back then when I did that one, I really my aim was still like in progress. It was getting better, and um The Last of Us has a lot of online trophies. And
Gotcha.
the worst thing about that game is that the online trophies are specific to you not dying. So like you can
Um,
get like to a certain rank of survivors, and if you die, you lose survivors and you lose and you lose. So that was probably the that's probably the one I'm most proud of when people ask me like which one was your, I guess that's my great white buffalo one.
gotcha. So that like your proudest moment was definitely that one then.
Yeah, because I
That's
didn't think I could do it.
That's cool. That's really cool. And to follow up on that question, actually, a little bit of a similar question, but also a little different. This is from Comfortably Dumb. They would like to know what was the hardest and the easiest games to platinum that you've done?
Uh, the hardest. Yeah, I guess that would be the hardest because of the online trophies. And yeah, I mean the easiest would be the Mayo one. You just gotta sit there and you just continuously tap X and you're gonna get it. You'll get that you'll get that platinum. So
It's more just the persistence of it than anything else.
more time consuming and just kind of just like I think I at one point I was just watching TV and I had the controller just kind of just tapping it just to get to that point. So
I love that. I love it. BenMe3331 in the chat would like to know if you could live in a video game world that you have played, which one would it be and why?
Kingdom Hearts. because there's so many worlds that you could travel to in Kingdom Hearts, and I like that. And that's Kingdom Hearts is like one of my favorite games. Um, and what was the other part? Why?
Yeah, just I mean, I think you pretty much answered it there, but
Oh, I mean, I don't think I'd miss an opportunity to meet Sora and Riku and all of them. So,
that's awesome. No, and those are amazing games. Amazing games. I've been meaning to go back and play them myself again sometime soon because I kind of miss Kingdom Hearts. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie.
you know how I feel about Kingdom Hearts.
Oh yes, very much so. Very much so. Comfortably Dumb has another question. They would like to know how often do you run into bugs that prevent you from getting a platinum trophy, or has that ever happened to you?
Yes, and it has happened a lot. Um, it's actually prevented me from getting a platinum. So if you guys are on PlayStation and you want to check out my trophies, you could just check Raceryayo. But one that really bugs me so much is the Mafia 3 trophy because and this is gonna sound ridiculous and I know everybody's gonna be like, "Oh my God, I would not do that." But I have played that game 9 times
Wow.
from beginning to end, and the trophy is so glitched that I have played 9 times. Each time I've played it a different way to try to get around the glitch. I have gone on Reddit. I am on PlayStation, PSN profiles with a bunch of trophy hunters. Some of them find a workaround. Sometimes that workaround doesn't work.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, I do run into glitches. Most recently, I did. It happened with the query, which is should have been a simple maybe 3 playthroughs. I ended up walking away with 5 playthroughs and
Wow.
one glitch trophy, so I had to just shelf it, wait for them to fix the glitch, and then go back and do it.
Gotcha.
Um, Sometimes the developers won't fix it, and at that point, it's hard to walk away because I'm so close. Like with the Mafia game, I think I'm like at 86%. So I'm
Gotcha.
like about 3 trophies away from being done. But for some reason it doesn't like I keep going back. Like I'll keep being like, I'm just gonna play one more time. Just one more time to see to see if it pops. But yeah, I do get a lot of glitches. Usually normally there is workarounds or I'll have to wait for a workaround. But the developers like with the newer games they come up with a patch really quickly like they did for the query where it was easy for me to just go back and get it really quick and then I was done with it. But uh developer the 2K I think is the developer for Mafia 6 or 3 I'm sorry, and they won't patch it and I've complained to them like a few times cuz I want that trophy. I just want that platinum so bad and it's like I always feel like I'm so close to it, but then the game ends and there's no trophy.
Oh
So
my god. That's terrible. That's terrible. So how many playthroughs would you say is pretty typical for you to get that platinum trophy?
I think the most playthroughs that I've done and okay, the most playthroughs I've done and not gotten a platinum is the 9 times I've played Mafia.
Yeah.
Um, but for games like the super massive games requires a good amount of playthroughs to get certain trophies.
Mhm.
And those games, like, believe it or not, I'm like the biggest fan of those games, even though they're so time consuming. But I think next to that would probably be 8 times, and that was Detroit.
Oh yeah. Well, and with a game like that, especially where every choice you make changes the outcome of the game, like I'm sure
Yeah.
platinuming something like that must have just been an absolute nightmare.
But the thing I think I like about, those games is because every time I play it, it is different.
Mm,
So it doesn't become taxing where it's like play it on normal and then play it on hard. So it's easier for me to just because I'm playing it and I now know I got to do two playthroughs because of the difficulty. So I'll do it because sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's just time consuming. But like with the Supermassive and the Detroit games, um, they're different, so it doesn't feel like I'm playing the same game. It feels like I'm just exploring a whole new avenue.
Right, right. That's I mean, and that's a good way to keep a playthrough fresh, right? Like
Right.
if you're don't feel like you're playing the same game over and over again, then that makes it a whole lot easier for you, I'm sure.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So something you'd mentioned earlier while we were talking there was the fact that this has a whole ranking system and stuff like that involved. So is there like a competitive side to this, or is it just more like a personal glory type thing when you go up in these rankings?
I think it just depends. Like, I mean, sometimes I'm very boastful to um, I go to work and people will be like, "Oh, well, what games do you play?" Because I'll mention games a lot at work, and I'll be like, "Oh, I play such and such games." And recently, I had told my boss like I was a trophy hunter, and he's like, he didn't believe me. First of all, he was like, "No, there's no way." And I was like, "Okay, well, you can add me on PlayStation." So he did, and he was going for the Final Fantasy uh Platinum, and I
Hmm.
told him, "Well, I'm gonna get around to it. I just haven't gotten around to it yet." And then he was all like, "So I got the Platinum." And then I thought to myself, it can't be that hard to catch up to her. And then he's like, "I went to your profile, then I saw over 100," and I said, "Oh, hell no, I'm not catching up to her." So I think sometimes it's cool, just because I can always, that's something that I could always be like, "Well, yeah, I have a lot of trophies," and I could be a little bit boastful about it, but um I don't really think of the ranking system as something like, I don't see it in terms of like, there's people that play like just specifically COD, or people that play Fortnite and stuff like that, and um their numbers are never going to be there because they don't play any other games.
Right.
So I can't be like, "Well, I'm a better gamer than you." I can't do that because it's not, they could just turn around and be like, "Well, I have better aim than you." And I could be like, "What?"
Touche.
It's a good one. That's a good one. But yeah, it's just a ranking system, and I mean, I do get cool things, like you do get rewarded from PlayStation when you get certain platinums. So I think that's something that I look forward to with certain games that get released.
That's cool. I had no idea, honestly, that you could get rewards for getting platinums and stuff. What kind of rewards and stuff do you get?
Well, it's typically only PlayStation games, like for Horizon Zero, well, this new Horizon that just released recently.
Forbidden
If
West.
you got platinum, then you got like a tree planted in your honor in at a certain park or something, and you got like a special avatar with Days Gone. You got a what are they called? The background on your PlayStation, the themes.
Oh,
There
the
you go.
themes, yeah.
Yeah, you got a free theme, and you got a certain avatar that only you have if you made platinum. If you didn't make platinum, then of course they wouldn't send it. But yeah, you get really cool like little avatars and themes that they send you. And of course, the coolest one has been the planted tree, because now I know there's somewhere out there is a tree planted in my name.
That is so cool. Like, and I honestly had no idea that those kinds of things were available to people that did platinum. So that's
Yeah.
amazing. That's really cool. It's so really cool. Um, Another question from the community here. This one comes from Chuck Mangio in 69. They would like to know, did you ever play Dead Space? And if so, what were your thoughts on what it took to get the trophies for that?
So no, I'm Dead Space came out in PlayStation 3. Unfortunately, I did look into Dead Space because I'm a huge Dead Space fan. Unfortunately, I didn't get into it until PlayStation 4, but the online trophies are unfortunately unobtainable. So even if
Ah,
I wanted to go for it, I wouldn't be able to obtain it.
yeah. That I mean, and that's another question that I had too. Like, with a lot of the older games and stuff, because achievements and trophies and stuff like that were have been around for a while. Maybe not in the same form that they are now, because it's a
Hmm.
much more, you know, the community around trophy hunting has grown a lot, so it's gotten a much better system than back in the old days. But like, if you were to
Yeah.
go back and play an old game, like, are there a lot of games that are like that where they're just not completable anymore because their servers are offline and stuff like that?
So, in the trophy hunter group that I kind of associate with, there's like a certain website that you could go to, and it lists all of the games that are the trophies are no longer obtainable or their servers are going to close. But
Ah,
yeah, mostly it is the older ones. It really sucks because, like I said, I do love Dead Space, and that was one of the series that I was considering doing because I do enjoy that game so much. Um, but yeah, since the servers are down, and back then in the PlayStation 3 era, the PlayStation trophies, the online ones were really like, you know, a big thing in the trophy hunting world, and it was
yeah.
like now it's just like, ugh, online trophies.
I gotcha. So you mentioned it a couple times that you're involved with it, like an actual trophy hunting group. What is that like being in a community of people that also do that? Like, is this where you guys like swap strategies and stuff like that, or what is kind of involved in being in that side of trophy hunting?
Well, with the group, we just kind of bounce ideas off of each other. Like, if, for example, we were all playing Query at the same time,
Oh, cool.
um, and then when that glitch happened, we were all kind of like, well, let's try this, or let's who can go back and try this, and who has a save for this certain chapter. Um, so we just kind of bounce ideas off of each other's heads so that we can figure out a way to get past that glitch, or like if we're coming up on a trophy that we're kind of almost done, finished platinuming a game, we're like, what should I play next? Or what do you guys think I should play? Or just supporting each other when we do get a platinum, tag each other or put it in in our group thing so that we know like to go and check out that person's and just, you know, give them some love.
That's awesome. And what's the name of the group that you're in?
It's just a little group. It's just PlayStation Trophy Hunters on Twitter.
Okay. Well, I'll put a link to it in the description of the podcast too, so that everybody can go check them out. If anybody who is listening is interested in checking out that group of trophy hunters, make sure you do that. I will
Yeah.
put a link in there for you guys. Um, but that's amazing. So, uh, so especially when it comes to choosing a game, I know that you touched on it a little bit there, where like a lot of the indie titles and stuff like that might be a little bit easier, but might not be as fulfilling, and then you have these big AAA titles that are a lot of time and a lot of could be a lot of playthroughs and stuff like that to get to that platinum trophy. When you decide what game you're going to tackle next, is it typically based on just what you like, or what's kind of your process when you're ready to start, I guess?
I think when I first started, if I couldn't get platinum, I wouldn't play the game.
Mm,
Now that I've become more selective, that's changed a lot because now I'm like, I'm still gonna play it. I'm probably not gonna get platinum, but I'll still play it. Um, Mostly when I say, okay, this is a game that I'm gonna platinum, I'll start looking at the trophy list and be like, okay, well, the first thing I look for is their online trophies because online trophies are a pain in the butt.
yeah, I can only
So that's
imagine.
yeah, they really are because it's not like you can't do anything specific. Like it's literally like you have to get someone that's kind of going after the same goal.
Mm,
So it becomes like a, well, okay, do I have enough people that'll get on for this particular trophy? Um, that's one thing that I do look at majorly. Um, like for example, and just an example, recently I decided to go after the GTA 5 Platinum, which has a lot of online trophies.
yeah.
Um, and I actually now I have all of the online trophies because I sat there like and I did the races over and over and over and over. Well, I bugged you. So, I was able to obtain all of the online trophies, and now I have to go back and do the story. But since I'm still in my Borderland series run,
Hmm.
um, I said I'm gonna do it afterwards. But the backlog starts to fill, and then some other things come up. But there's other games that I do enjoy or like look at. But the after that is the story trophies, which are the easiest trophies that I kind of know I'm gonna get, and I know I'm gonna walk away with those. Um, and then it's really just the collectibles. I
Mm,
think the collectibles is probably the next grindiest trophy because like LA, I think it's LA Nori that I played that had like I think it has like 300 or more collectibles. So
wow.
I literally that was like the those I try to save till the end so I just kind of drove around and slowly, collected everything I had to collect, but that's really what I look at when I decide to platinum a game. If I'm just gonna play it, um, sometimes in the middle of playing it, I decide like, oh, maybe I think I can possibly get the platinum. So then I'll start, grinding a little bit differently than I was before.
Gotcha.
Um, Other things that kind of drive me crazier that I look at is like a specific action that is required for that trophy, like shoot 20 people in 3 seconds, or
Mm,
equip yourself with havoc and kill 3 people in 10 seconds. And those are the kind of trophies that do take a little bit of time, um, but aren't as grindy. It's just like, well, did I hit it or not? And if I didn't, you just kind of go back and do it.
yeah. So you kind of, but before you even start a game, you have kind of an idea of whether or not you're even going to try to platinum it, right?
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Before it, I think as games get released and the trophy lists kind of get released, I start looking at it like, um, is this one that I want to go after? Do I think I'm gonna enjoy it that much for me to be like, yeah, I do want to sit there and do that platinum run. So I do stay. I'm. It's weird, but yeah, every time I decide or think about doing a platinum, I said I gotta find that trophy list first, and
Yeah.
then I'll make that decision.
That's smart though, because I mean, the last thing you would want to do is kind of go into a trophy hunt blind, right? I mean, because that just
Exactly.
sounds like absolute nightmare to me.
Yeah, it is, and I think that's probably one of the biggest things is that if you don't if you're not constantly looking up certain things, like when a new game comes out, we all kind of find out about a glitch all at the same time because we're
Mm,
all at that stage. So it's like, wait, I didn't get this trophy, why? And then you kind of have to keep up with that, like figuring out like, is it a glitch or did I just do it wrong? So you end up kind of going back and doing it a few times and then okay, no, it's a glitch.
gotcha. I gotcha. So, keeping on that topic of new games, actually, because Captain Spaulding had another question for you. They would like to know: is there a game that you are most looking forward to trying to platinum in the near future? And that could either be a new release that's coming out, or just something you've got planned. Like, what are you looking forward to the most?
Um, well, I barely started doing series platinums, so uh I think after I finish Borderlands and I attack a few games, I do want to do the Gotham Knights one.
Ooh,
I know that's it's gonna have some heavy online trophies, and I'm perfectly okay with that um, because I think there you could do certain things single player. So I'm anticipating a few, but not a lot. Of course, God of War Ragnarok. I'm
mm-hmm.
definitely gonna platinum. Um, and other than that, most likely Harry Potter.
Yeah, yeah, no, and that should be an interesting online fest for you too. So
Yeah, yeah.
that'd be awesome. Cool. Comfortably Dumb had another question. They would like to know: does the group that you're in contribute to any of the awesome guides that I see online? Because I always Google stuff, and I feel like I owe you people money for what?
No, no, they don't. None of them. They're just regular trophy hunters.
Yeah. Do trophy hunters, do any of them ever do like guide type stuff? Because I mean, obviously by the time you've platinumed a game, you've pretty much mastered it. So like, is that something that anybody that you know of in the community has ever gotten into? Is like guide making or?
No, I think um we do things like where we'll post like little clips of certain things that of trophies that we get, but nothing where we're contributing to like, like there's bigger ones like Power Picks where they specifically give you like a step-by-step guide on how to do certain things, or like PSN trophies. Uh,
Hmm.
they give you like a nice little guide sometimes that can help, and those are really the two main sites that I personally use, but I don't really know anybody that actually sits there and does it. No.
Well, there we go. There's a niche of content creation for somebody out there. So-
Yeah, I've actually thought about it because like when I thought about finishing my unboxing journey on YouTube, I was like, maybe I could do like a tutorial, but I don't know. I don't think I was able to catch myself every time when I got a trophy to
yeah,
kind of go back and clip it. It takes a lot, and I've seen easy trophies that I've trophy hunters get, and they'll post it. Um, like the power picks, they post like video guides and stuff. And I
gotcha.
would have probably missed one and not been able to go back. So,
I feel that. I feel that. Well, let's get into kind of the other side of content creation that you've done beyond just trophy hunting, and that's doing the unboxings and things like that. And you said that you've recently stepped into doing TikTok more than YouTube. What made you want to make that switch, or what kind of appeals to you about TikTok as a platform over something more traditional like a YouTube?
with YouTube, I think it's a little bit harder to get people to view it.
Mm,
Um, when I was putting out content on YouTube, I really wasn't like in the beginning, I told myself I'm doing it for fun, and I really was just doing it for fun. But then I kind of got a little bit like, wait a minute, not a lot of people are checking me out. So then I would start to slowly advertise, and that's really not what I wanted to do because, like I said, I was just doing it for fun. And then I don't know, I think at a point it just wasn't fun to me anymore because people would ask me like, are you getting this collector's edition? If so, are you making a video?
mm.
And then I would actually get the collector's edition and I would make a video, but then they wouldn't go and watch the video that they asked me to do. So at that point, it started to get too much to me where it just wasn't fun. Like
Yeah.
now I wanted more. I wanted numbers. And I had been doing it, I think, for a little bit over a year. And I just felt like, there's a lot of people that'll sit there and tell you, like, well, if you do it over a year and it's not working, then you shouldn't do it no more. So I think that kind of, started spinning into my head where I was like, well, maybe I shouldn't do it no more. And I also kind of felt like some of the stuff that I was just getting for that reason, just to do an unboxing video. Where as I started to get like my collection of things started to like completely get out of hand. Like I had literally over like 800 pops. I had like some figures that I don't even know why I had them during that time. So I was like, wait a minute, I don't even like Destiny. Why am I getting
Destiny Funkos.
so yeah, so at that point I was just like, I'm not gonna do this no more. And so I decided to stop at one point, which I did stop, which I no longer post. And then all of a sudden from the woodwork after I stopped, people were like, don't stop, don't give up. And I was like, no, I'm done. I'm done. So then I decided like, well, I started posting some DBD videos on TikTok and I started getting a lot of views on TikTok and I was like, huh, it's a little bit easier here than it is on YouTube. So I started posting more of my DBD videos, well, Dead by Daylight, just in
Mm.
case y'all don't know. Um, I started posting more DBD videos and I started getting more and I used to tell my boss when I used to go into work like I made it on TikTok, I think I'm gonna quit now. But after that I got I can't remember what collector's edition I got, but or a pair of sneakers that I got that was like it was like a really good pair that a lot of people weren't able to get. And Zombie was telling me, she was like, well, you should make a video because, a lot of people could get that. And I was like, really? I don't want to, like that. And I was like, but I'll do it on TikTok. So I just made a quick video on TikTok and slowly, sometimes you get views, sometimes you don't. But I'm not really pressed on TikTok. It's just a really cool thing for me to kind of stay into that content creation since I'm not like streaming or I'm not doing YouTube anymore. It's just a way to keep my foot in the content creator area.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, let's be honest. I mean, TikTok is probably the most rapid growing form of content creation that there is nowadays. I mean, it's
Yeah.
exploding. I think a lot of people would say, even a lot of big YouTubers that I've talked to have said, like, if you're not doing something on TikTok, then that's where it's at right now. So I think that's cool that you've been able to kind of find a little bit of a place to do this kind of a thing on TikTok, because that's definitely an exploding platform right now for
Yeah.
sure.
It really is. It really is.
That's really cool though. That's really cool though. So do you have any plans in the future then for what you want to do with this new platform that you've discovered? I mean, are you going to keep doing unboxings, or you going to be posting some more DVD stuff? Like what's your plan?
Believe it or not, I've kind of not played DVD at all anymore.
That's very
Wh-
hard to believe, knowing you the
It
way I
is,
know you.
right? It is. Yeah, I know. It's surprising to me too because I enjoyed Dead by Daylight so much, but I think that with a lot of the updates and stuff, I wasn't really feeling some of the stuff that they were putting out, so I had decided at that point, not that I wasn't gonna play it. I mean, I do dabble in there sometimes, and just to kind of be like, oh yeah, I still got it type of thing. But yeah, I mean, I do post a few things. I want to say a little bit of gaming things. I've not really decided yet on if I'm gonna post like certain trophies because I know um now with the PS5, and I'm not advertising PS5, but hear me out. It is so much easier to clip things, and
Hmm.
to have those clips sent to my phone makes life so much easier. So I'm not advertising, but it's like a super easy system now that you can just kind of go in, upload it to TikTok, and kind of just walk away. So I've actually considered doing that. I had like a bunch of videos for the query that I wanted to do, um, especially because of that glitch trophy. But then I decided, no, I'm not gonna post that. Um, so I don't know. I'm still getting my feet wet with it, just really deciding on like, do I want to post like trophy clips and also gameplay? Because I think I posted one video on my TikTok, which just kind of shows you where up and down it is, and they got like a lot of views, and it was actually um the video that you edited for me.
Oh no way.
I Yeah, I clipped some of it and I put it on my TikTok, and people were making fun of me because I don't build on Fortnite.
Yep.
And they were like, "Really, bro? Really? This is the clip you post?" And I was like, "But I literally got like so many kills. I don't understand." But I guess because there was no build during that time, it was like a thing like you don't build.
Oh yeah.
So, but now I because I play it so much, and because I do play a lot of like I do get a lot of cool guns like when right now that I'm doing my Borderlands run, and I do get a lot of cool things that happen, like cool drops and like cool glitches and stuff.
Yeah.
So I have considered clipping a few things. I just haven't really decided. I know like I am a sneakerhead, so that's another thing that I do post on my TikTok. And I'm just kind of figuring it out, like figuring out the app slowly. 'Cause
Mm.
like you got to change the time, and you got to figure out, are you gonna put the words and what type of music and all of that good stuff. So,
It's definitely a very unique form of content creation.
right.
It's its own animal, completely
Really
its
is.
own animal. But
Yeah.
it's cool that you've been able to take these things that you love to do and transfer it from uh, kind of the more OG platform of YouTube into this new platform of TikTok. So that's awesome, and we'll be sure to put a link to Racer's TikTok down there in the description so you guys can check out everything that she's doing. Uh, Now I got a couple more questions for you. This is one that is now synonymous with this show and must be asked. Well, there's two questions really. The first one is, Racer, if you were an ice cream, what flavor would you be and why?
I knew you were gonna ask me this because I watch your podcast, and I give it in a lot of thought, and I said if Alec asked me that, I'm gonna say chocolate because I'm nasty. But then I was like, you can't say that. And then I thought, okay, well, I like, cookie dough ice cream because I'm a fatty. I like to eat. But then I was like, no, you can't say that. So I honestly, I don't know. Either one, take your pick. But
Both of these
I
answers,
thought of both responses for you.
both of these answers are perfect. I love both of these answers. But you can say anything here. It is completely open book. So I mean, there's no censor here. This is not a Christian Minecraft server. You're good to go. You're good to go. All right. Well, the other question that I like to ask, especially to people that are current content creators, or even I think this applies to you very uniquely, being a trophy hunter, is this question of burnout. Like a lot of times, content creators, or even when you're trying to platinum a game, experiencing burnout, like reaching this point of just like, I just don't want to do this anymore, is something that comes up a lot. Is that something you've ever experienced? And if so, do you have any tips on what you do to kind of reset yourself and kind of get you out of that phase?
So I hadn't actually experienced it before until I started this Borderlands journey.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. And like Borderlands is something that I really, really love. Um, Especially because I feel like I got into it, and I'm not saying there's a wrong way to get into it, but I feel like I got into it like I want to say the right way story-wise. Like I started off with Tales of the Borderlands, so it kind of because I fell in love with Tales of the Borderland, it kind of just took off for me from there.
Mm-hmm.
And up until this year, I decided that I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna try to platinum all the Borderlands. I don't think I realized when I made that decision how grindy the older Borderlands are.
Oh yeah.
Then, I think uh, I went through pre-sequel, and I have to say that I never, ever, ever thought that I would get platinum for pre-sequel, first of all, because of that 360 sniper shot.
Oh.
I never, never in my right mind did I think that, but I got in and I was like, if I can get this trophy in the next 30 minutes, I'm gonna continue my journey. So I actually did, and I I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna keep going. I did two playthroughs on that one, and then it was a little bit grindy to get to level 50, but I got it. And then it was like an RNG trophy thing where something specific had to happen with Claptrap.
Mm-hmm.
So there was that. So I think I spent a lot of time there, and then I finally finished it. And then I went to Borderlands, the first Borderlands, and I said, okay, well, this is going to be easy because I had a majority of the trophies, which it was. So I was like, okay, I got one. And then two came around, and let me tell you, two was, I didn't think it through. I didn't think it
Yeah.
through. And I got to that stupid, stupid monster, and I was like, oh my God, like, I don't think I could do this. I was recruiting people to see who could help me. Everybody's like, what? And I was like, oh my God. So I had to figure that out on my own to try to get that one. And then I got to Borderlands 3, which is where I'm actually at right now. And I think it was maybe like at chapter 10, I was like, God, like I started to feel really burnt out because I felt like, I mean, I've been in this Borderlands universe for the better of maybe like 3 months, 3 or 4
Yeah.
months, just kind of playing nonstop Borderlands and not really, I haven't really played anything else. So I, I think it was barely like 2 weeks ago where I was like, I think I'm Borderlands burned out. Like, I really think maybe I'm not enjoying it no more. So I'm the type of person that I have to continue, like I have to keep going. So I just took a quick like readjustment, and I was like, let me go back and let me do the Wonderlands DLC. So I went back, and because of that gun that I got, that awesome gun, I got this awesome gun, guys, let me tell you, which makes me like completely OP. So I was like, let me go back, and maybe it's because it's taking so long to kill these people. So I was like, let me go back and do Wonderlands, and I could feel strong, and then I could go back to Borderlands 3. And sure enough, I finished all the DLCs, went back to Borderlands 3, and I felt adjusted. But I think if I'm giving advice to someone that feels a little bit burnt out from doing trophy hunting or even just playing a certain game, walk away. Do not walk away. Don't be like me. Walk away. It's play something else in the meantime. Um, I barely started doing that, having like a secondary game that I can play. In this case, because I had Wonderland's DLCs there that I had already platinum Wonderland, so I had the DLCs just kind of sitting there waiting for me.
Hmm.
I decided to just stay within the Borderland realm, but just kind of go back to the DLCs and come back.
I
So
gotcha. So just
walk away.
have a palate cleanser, something that you can
Yeah,
walk away.
have a side game that you're able to just a kind of really able to go back, and it feels like second nature to
Mm.
you, and then just come back.
So what would be like if you had to say like what would be your ultimate game that you could walk away like if you were playing something and you were feeling burnt out and you're like I just need to step back and do something else. What's your go-to? Like what's a game that you could just pop in and be like, all right, this is my palate cleanser. I'm just going to play this for a few minutes or a few days or whatever.
Fortnite,
Yeah.
Fortnite, or um sometimes Overwatch. Very rarely, but sometimes Overwatch. I just like to know I still got it on Overwatch. So I'll go back to that sometimes. Right now, I am playing a second, like I started a secondary game right now. I'm playing Deathloop.
Mm.
So it's like Borderlands and Deathloop. And since I'm almost done with Borderlands, I'm also almost done with Deathloop. So I'm kind of just playing those two right now.
I got you. I got you. Very cool. Very cool. I love that. I love that. Let's see. So like, if you had to look back, what would you say is like the one game that gave you your ultimate love of gaming? Like what would be the one game that you would say like, yeah, at that point I fell in love with gaming?
Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah,
I think you saw that coming.
I
Yeah,
probably
Kingdom
did.
Hearts. Kingdom Hearts has always been well, Kingdom Hearts and Ratchet and Clank, because I didn't start go into gaming like young where like I mean I did have like I didn't have a Nintendo, like there was a Nintendo in the house, and I dabbled on that, dabbled on Sonic, but I wasn't really like into gaming yet until I kind of hit 18. So I had missed a lot of like things like, God of War and all of that good stuff. I wasn't like it at its inception, but I started with Kingdom Hearts on PlayStation 2 and Ratchet and Clank on PlayStation 2, and those two games are like the love, like I love those games. They're the love of my life. So I will always play those games. But yeah, those are the two that actually sparked me to get back into gaming and enjoy that whole gaming side.
That's
I
very
wasn't a
cool.
trophy hunter then, so ti times were easy. I just
For
like
sure. No, then you were just playing games for fun, like we all used to, and then we all got hooked, and then it was all over. So we got one last question from the community tonight. It's from Chuck Mangione69. They want to know how annoying did you find the good against remotes is one thing trophy in Borderlands 3 if you've gotten that one yet?
Well, I have actually platinum Borderlands 3 on PS4.
Okay.
So this is my PS5 run. And
Ah.
you said what was the trophy?
Good against remotes is one thing, is what it's called.
Oh, the aiming one.
Yep.
I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it because I can't just throw bombs at it and expect it to work. Like you actually have to sit there and um for when I did it for PS4, I just memorized it and I kept watching, like I recorded it and I kept watching it and watching it and watching it until I was able to walk away with it.
Mm-hmm.
This time for my PS5 run, I told myself that I'm not going to do that until the end.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Save the worst for last then.
Exactly. That's where I'm at. I'm gonna wait on that one, like until I'm, in the last chapter, I'm finishing the game, just go back on, and because that Borderlands 3, I told myself that's one of the ones that I do want to play the DLCs for.
Hmm.
So it'll still be one that I'm gonna go back and play the remaining DLCs for. But once I get platinum, I'll go and I'll focus on another game, and then if I feel like I feel Borderlandsy, I'll go back and I'll do one DLC and then one DLC.
There
Kind
you
of
go.
slowly get up to the 100%.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, honestly, that's probably the best way to do it instead of crazy people like me that decide to sit down and do full Allegiance playthroughs through all the DLCs and everything. And, we're crazy.
Yeah, and I think because this is the first series game, like where I wanted to do the entire series, I think that that's something that I'm really not gonna reconsider, but maybe like a shorter series.
Hmm.
Because
Yeah.
I told myself like I thought when I first got into thinking about doing the series, I said I'm gonna do God of War next. Um, so yeah, I've reconsidered that. I'm gonna revisit that like eventually, but I told myself I think I'm gonna do Tomb Raider. I think the next series I'll do is Tomb Raider and see what see what other games I could kind of get into because I know the new Tales of the Borderland comes out in October. So
October.
I'll be going back to Borderlands then. That's why I want to finish this Borderlands now so I could get a Borderlands break.
There you go. Perfect. Perfect. Well, Racer, it has been absolutely awesome getting to have you on the confessional here tonight. This is the time of the show where I call it the shameless plug portion. Please, where can the audience go to find out more about you and to support your content?
Well, I'm actually Raceryayo everywhere, so Raceryayo on Twitter, Raceryayo on TikTok, and if you want to check out my trophies or even just want to ask me or pick my brain on a certain game, I get that a lot. But you can actually find me on PlayStation. You can add me on PSN. I accept pretty much everybody, but yeah, that's where you could see me and find me.
That's perfect. Awesome. Well, that is all the time we have in the confessional this evening, so it is time for us to close the curtain on the booth for now. But I want to thank our guests for talking with us and thank each and every one of you for being with us tonight. If you have questions for our guests that you didn't get to, make sure that you check out their links in the description below and you can ask them questions or leave a comment on the video if you're joining us on YouTube. If you're joining us in an audio format from your favorite podcasting site, please make sure to leave us a review. We would love to hear from you, and you can ask questions in there as well. If you have anything else, like a suggestion for a guest or anything like that, again, leave a comment or a review. We would absolutely love hearing from you guys. Don't forget that if you would like to support the show, to check out our Patreon over at patreon.com/theconfessional, where you can get all kinds of awesome rewards for supporting the show. Thank you again, everyone, and remember, be excellent to each other. You guys have a good night.